Ladies with gentle hands, welcome back to another episode of Catching Up with Harlan, with yours truly, Harlan. This is take 3. I don't got any tripod for anything, so I'm holding on my phone with some tape on. It's like a little napkin holder. It's pretty sick. It's a pretty good vibe. It is currently 12:39 a.m. Midnight, so I'm hyped up. I'm cranked off the Arnold Palmers, bro. Those things get me going. I love the unsweetened tea with the sweetened lemonade. It's like the perfect amount, my opinion. Yeah, dude, tonight was a phenomenal night. Sorry it's been a little bit since my last podcast. Every single time I say that, I know, but I try to get in like the right headspace and like have the right material like to present, because if I were to do this every single day, like I'd just be talking out of my ass. So I find myself like doing shit like for podcasts, like for the lore for the podcast. I know that last time some of you guys enjoyed some of the stuff that I talked about. Basically, what's happened since I've been gone? I've just been my new job I've been grinding at a lot. Like, there's all types of just fun stuff to do there. And I'm coming from Trader Joe's, and so like the first little bit of racism that I like heard, I was like, holy shit, like I'm home. Like it was weird to like, no, I'm not home, but like it was just weird to hear that shit after, so long of being in this like PC like environment. Like I read a whole book, like literally, like Trader Joe's was like, all right, we're gonna give you this like work pamphlet, you gotta fill it out. And it was like so long, it took me like 3 days to do. Part of me was like, all right, if you're paying me to read, I'm gonna read every fucking word in that shit slowly as fuck. But I was chilling. New work environment, super funny. All the Mexicans are super like hilarious. It's at a restaurant. It's at a nicer restaurant. It's nice, dressing up in black and feeling good. The work's fun. It's way shorter shifts in my opinion. Sorry, I'm petting my cat right now. He's being a little goofball. Today was pretty epic. So I don't know. I was a pretty unproductive day. It was rainy, so I just kicked it inside. But I was sitting, taking a bath before I was gonna go to the gym, and I was looking like at this like YouTube video of Noel Miller. Shout out to Noel Miller. I'm actually doing this podcast without the tripod because this is his like signature, little mic setup. And I was like watching it, sitting there, and he's like, check out these dates at Irvine. And I was like, oh shit, he has a show coming up. He's trying to sell it out. Like, let's see what's going on. Bro, it is today. And so I'm sitting there and I was like, holy fuck. And so I was like looking at it, and it said less than 10 tickets left. And I was like, holy shit, I gotta get in today. And I realized my buddy, I've known this guy for like 8 years, maybe 9 years. He introduced Noel Miller to me like maybe 6 or 7 years ago. And we've been watching him like so much since, him and Cody Ko. Rest in peace. And it was just like, if you don't know who they are, they're like this notorious duo that, that one meme where it's like, oh, ew, this guy fucking stinks. If you don't know, put it up, picture of them on the thing. They're super funny, good duo, but, Cody got wrapped up in some pedophile shit. We lost him to the fucking great pedophile ball of YouTubers. And so I call him up and I'm like, bro, like, I know you're at work and shit. Like, can you leave? Like, I have tickets to fucking Noel Miller at 9 o'clock tonight. And this is at 7. And so I'm sitting there, I'm texting him, and he's like, dude, like, he's kind of going into this. He's trying to become a mechanical engineer, my buddy Luke, and he's trying to, like, really lock in, you know, get settled down and shit. And I see myself as, like, Ferris Bueller, and, like, he's, like, Cam. And he's like, that just isn't me. Like, I don't do any spontaneous shit like that anymore. Like, and I was like, bro, you sound like a fucking woman. So, just sitting there, like, bro, you need to lock in. Like, just figure out, like, a story. Like, my grandma just, like, fucking sneezed, and I need to go wipe her nose. And, like, or, like, I need to go study, or, like, I go fake throw up. Do whatever you can, bro. Like, so I'm calling him, and I texting him. He's like, bro, like, I just don't know why he won't take no for an answer. And I'm like, bro, we gotta go. Because he works at this fucking pizza place that he, like, makes him want to fucking put a shotgun in his mouth. And I'm like, bro, get the fuck out of there, and I'll pay for your ticket. That's what got him, kind of. I don't know. I started guilt tripping him, like, bro, like, I don't ever ask anything of you. Anyway, so I'm sitting there, and I'm like, all right, finally get him. So I call up the work, because my buddy works there as well, and, like, I was like, yo, can you please cover him? Can you please, like, close the busser part? Don't mind me, it's just Saratoga. It's nothing big. They just deliver, they sponsor me and shit. But fucking, so I was like, oh, can you cover me, or cover him? Like, his manager answers, and I was like, hey, this is Mark's brother. And I was like, yo, Mark, don't react. I said that I was your brother, but this is Harlan, and I need you to cover him tonight, bro. And I was like, I don't ask much, bro. Like, we got to go to this show. And he was like, all right, bro, I got you. So anyways, Luke shoots him $40. Luke says that his grandma broke his ankle. Fucking runs out of work. And I was like, bro, grandma broke her ankle is, like, going to be some shit that, like, they're going to be asking about your grandma for months. Like, that's fucked. And I was like, all right. This is my cat, by the way. His name's Loki, and he loves sitting on everything. So he darts out. He goes, takes a shower. I go pick him up. We drive there. And we're stoked, right? Like, I haven't seen this guy, and I can't believe it. So I bought VIP tickets because, he gets out of work, and the tickets sold out. And I was like, holy shit. Because I guess I didn't put any in my cart. And I was like, holy shit, bro. I just made him lie about his grandma breaking her leg, or his grandma breaking her leg. And now he's fucking stuck, and we don't have tickets. So I'm looking on Craigslist. I'm looking on OfferUp. And he was like, bro, like, you just made me fucking leave work for this. And I was like, no, I'm going to find it. And so I call up the Improv. If you ever, running late on some tickets, just call up. They got a few that they're holding on to. And he was like, yeah, we can get you. We have GA or VIP. And I was like, bro, give me that VIP, baby. So I buy some VIP tickets. We go haul ass there, get there 8:45. Show up. I'm resting my arm on the stage. He's right there. And first guy comes out, Alec Flynn. Shout out to Alec Flynn. He was hilarious. He was talking about all types of shit. It was just crazy. Like, he had some great commentary on bisexual girls, and I genuinely think most girls are bisexual now. Like, if I were to tell my grandpa that, he'd be like, what the fuck? Like, you talking about them faggots? And so I'm like, all right, like, that is so true. I feel like every girl is at least kissing at sleepovers, but, like, guys can't be fucking gay. Like, that shit's gay. I'm sorry. So we're just chilling, and Alec Flynn comes out, and he kills his set. Really gets the crowd, like, interacted and shit. And I'm sitting there like, all right, like, I'm in the spot where, like, you're gonna talk to the comedian. Like, there's no way that he doesn't say that, like, oh, your hair is shitty or whatever. And I'm sitting there, and he comes out, and he just kills his fucking set. Like, such a great time, such a good environment. I think that Noel Miller is just he's got a different style, you know, like different style in the sense that he's just like, you look at him, he's so unique. At one point I asked him, I was like, what race are you? Because that's like the fucking burning question that everybody has. Because he's just like, literally like, what kind of like food would I describe him as? Like maybe he'd be like, you know, back in the day, like when your mom was making like leftover meals. For me, it was like spaghetti and meat sauce. My mom would be throwing carrots and celery, just anything in like tomato paste, and then like some random meats and shit, and just like grind it down. Like he's like that to me. Like I just don't know what the fuck he is. You know, can he say the N word? Can he not? Like these are all questions that were burning to ask, and so it was cool because he told me, but I can't say it on here. We're waiting. But yeah, it was just super cool. And then so we're getting back and we're driving there, and I get a text from my friend's manager, because I used to work there, and he was like, "Oh, was there any jokes about grandma slipping?" And I was like, "Bruh, like, all right, Mark ratted." But I guess it was more my fault because I called it. I blew it. I totally blew it. I feel like sometimes I don't know. I want to get shit going and I like act hastily, but like, I mean, I got it done. Fuck that job anyways. Like everybody hates it there. Like, hates it there. It's one of those jobs that you like clock in and clock out, and you're just like sitting there, and you're just like, I could fucking kill this party of 4 that's just sitting at this table. Like, nah. Okay. Not like that, but it's just crazy, bro. Like, how do you go to job? There's this one tall ass motherfucker that he's so passive aggressive, and he'll like stand over you and just like be looking at you. And I think shitty middle management is part of the downfall of like today's society, because they sit there and they think like to themselves that they're so much greater than the teenagers that are like trying to fucking scrounge by, and they're making only like a few dollars extra an hour, and they're like 10 years older than you. Like, why the fuck are you thinking that you're that much better than me when I would never want to be in your position 10 years from now? And they know it. I know it. Why the fuck are you like, but I can't do shit about it because you suck the most dick at this shitty pizza job, you know? He's got braces. He's a bitch. Like, he's like 6'4", maybe like 200 pounds. And like, I would just be like, I'm like 5'10", cap. And maybe like 160 pounds, like cap as well. And I would just be like, bro, like, I just beat the, like, if, like, respectfully, like, I just beat the fuck out of you. And like, he would just be like, no, like, you'd actually argue it. And then I would be like, I can lift more than you, though. And he's like, no, you can't. He's just a little kid, you know? All these middle management people are just little kids. But, you know, I think those types of jobs and those types of people, they sit and suffer in, like, comfort, in my opinion. Like, you look at, there's this analogy. I love this guy named Ed Milet, and he brought it to my attention. It's about the 4 philanthropists. There's this great war inside of this country, right? And all of the men are rounded up and put into this prison in the middle of the city, right? I guess it's a town. It's a town in this scenario. There's no like guns. It's like swords and shit. So they take all of them hostage and they start making them work. And the conditions at this labor camp were fucking disgusting. Like, think of like the grossest Guatemalan prison that you could ever be put inside, where you are treated like shit, you know? And there's 4 philanthropists in this story, right? And the first one sees that this water that they're drinking, it's not Saratoga, it's fucking, they're bathing in it, they're shitting in it, and they're drinking it, and like they're cleaning with it, the water that they have, and people are dying. They're getting dysentery, all types of shit. And the first philanthropist he owns a big water tower on the other end, and he's like, hey, I want to donate some water. I want to make sure that these prisoners are doing better, right? Then the second one sees that the food that they're eating, the cafeteria has cockroaches and the food is highly contaminated. And these men are getting such small rations that their rib cages are showing and they're not able to work. And so the second philanthropist is like, listen, I want to donate. He's a farmer, and he's like, listen, I want to donate some food because these people aren't able to do their job. And he feels complete, just like the first one. He's like, all right, like I feel good after just doing that little tiny step, all right? Then the third one sees that their clothes are ripped and tattered, and it's barely like fighting against the like terrible conditions outside during the winter and then the summer. It's too crazy that these people are working in these scenarios, and I quite think, frankly, that this is crazy. And he says, listen, I'm going to donate some clothes, right? And he feels complete after it. Then the last philanthropist comes through and he says, let me buy the keys, and sets them all free. And you might be like, Harlan, what the fuck are you saying right now? What I'm saying is you can sit there, and that manager that with those braces sat there so many times getting water, getting food, getting all this stuff, and he didn't set himself free. If he would have taken that jump that he's thought of 1,000 times, I'm not getting paid well enough, I'm not getting this well enough, and didn't take the jump, he is suffering in comfort. And I think suffering in comfort is more of an insult towards yourself, because to suffer in comfort, you have to be so okay with mediocrity. And I feel like mediocrity is one of the things that is most deadly, in this society. I think mediocrity is like, it's so easy to get latched onto because there's people that make it okay, There's people like your parents help you out, like all types of shit. There's all these handouts in life, and no shame if you need them, and no shame if like eventually everybody gets somewhere from the help of others, and you shouldn't. But what I'm saying is that jump, that part of your life where you're like, oh, like I am willing to like fight to get out of this, like. And the thing is, like, you just gotta have the fight in you. Like, where was that fight that you had in you when you were a little kid? Like, I found out at one point in my life that almost 100% of the time, everybody wants to fight on the kid that isn't like gonna fight. Everybody wants to pick on you when you're not gonna fight. Everybody wants to sit there and say like, yeah, I'll fight that weak little, short little, fat, ugly kid that isn't gonna do anything. But if that short, fat, ugly kid was like, I don't give a fuck about the outcome of the fight, I'm gonna give my absolute best to kill you, and at the end of it, I don't care how badly I'm beat up. I don't care how much teeth I lose or how blind I am in one eye. I'm going to fight. And if somebody were to say that to me or come into a situation like that, I wouldn't want to mess with them. So 99% of the time, I think that the willingness to fight prevents fights way more. Like, very often, I feel like, what's the merit in self-control without strength, Like, if somebody were to say, like, okay, I'm a lover, not a fighter, and there were this 300-pound overweight person that has neglected themselves, I would respect them a lot less than a Muay Thai fighter that has, really honed his physical abilities and is able to, like, kill a man and chooses not to, and chooses to be peaceful. I think that you gotta, there's a merit in saying, like, all right, like, I have the ability to sit there, like, as a manager, be like, all right, I can knock you down, make your life shit, but I'm not gonna, and I'm gonna lift you up. I'm not saying that all middle management is like that. Some middle management has been very helpful. Just don't let it get to your head, because those kids were in your exact position. Once again, it's Saratoga. It's nothing big. It's just water. Is there something special about this bottle? And also what I wanted to say to you guys, because if you're listening to me, I think that you're a fan of yourself, because all I'm going to tell you is how to, what I wish I heard earlier on, So I think whoever's listening to this, you got some sort of potential that you could tap into, There's a certain kid inside of you that would do, like, what's the best way I could put this? One thing I've been contemplating on lately was, I remember as a kid, I would tell my parents, like, hey, I want to be the best ever at this, or I want to be the greatest ever at this. And it's just so programmed into everybody's psyche to say, why are you thinking that way? Like, stop dreaming. Stop thinking about, like, all this stuff. I think one of the only things that is truly free is to dream. And so I pray that each day that I don't stop dreaming. I don't lose touch of that kid that wants to be the greatest architect ever, and the best podcaster ever, and the greatest comedian ever, because that part of me is what makes me, And a lot of people get out of college and they get to the end of their career and they're just like, a lot of people don't even recognize themselves. I don't want to lose myself like that. And when I look back on this video right now, in 30 years, I want to be able to say, that's me, I don't want to be envious of myself 30 years ago. Because right now, in this moment, what you have, let's say 10 years from now, no matter how much money you gain in 10 years, no matter how much fame or whatever, you would trade it all to be back at this point. If I made $10 million in 10 years, I'd pay $1 million a year to get back 10 years. You are the richest that you've ever been in your whole entire life right now. And there's no mistake you can make other than not believing in yourself. What I talked about last episode, it was a good 3 years of my life that I believed that I was the most unlucky, shortest, fattest, ugliest person in the whole entire world. I thought I was the most worthless person in the entire world. And I spent three, maybe 4 or 5 years thinking that. I thought that I was worthless. And one day, the future of me, I sat there and I thought this, and I was like, one day, future me is going to show up and kick my fat ass out of that fucking chair and grab that wheel with his hands and fucking say, you know what? I'm taking control of this. And I think that today is that day. And the next day is going to be that day. And I believe that once you know that you are the future me, like once you believe that you can, once you believe that, like, all that shit that you sit there and dream up and all that shit that, I mean, the amount of times I've had people say that I'm cocky or that I think I know it all, or that what I'm going through in life, it's gonna fizzle out, and I'm gonna change, and I'm gonna be more like them. I just pray I don't ever end up like that, The amount of times that even my family members, my closest family members, say, all this arrogance and all this self-esteem is gonna make me fall. And dude, I can't even tell you how bummed I am on Kanye West, because I want to say a Kanye West quote right now, because he said, I use my self-esteem as the steam to power my dreams. And I was like, that's a great quote, But now he's doing a bunch of gay shit with Jeffree Star, like, and it's crazy because the impact, like his lyrics and his music and the confidence that radiates from him has impacted my life. I think he's still so important to me because he's not only a symbol, he's not only a person that I can say, you know what, all this shit that he did is nothing because he let his ego take himself over, and he's gonna go down in history as fucking crazy. Now, like, he's gonna go down in history as like psycho because he doesn't. That's taking it too far, you know, all the ego and shit. Like, I pray that I don't have an ego and I don't come off as cocky. I don't want to, but I want. You know what? Fuck it. Like, what my parents say, like, sometimes my mom will be like, "You're so full of yourself," and I would be like, "You want me to be full of anybody else? Who else would I be full of? You know, who other person on this earth would I be full of than myself?" So thank you for saying that I'm full of myself, because like, what does it mean to be full of yourself? I think that's ridiculous. I think that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard, is that I'm full of myself. Some of the greatest people on this earth were full of themselves. You know, it's just Saratoga. It's just Saratoga water. It's nothing fucking fancy or anything, but today is that day, motherfucker. Like, you can grab the wheel. You can kick your old self out of that fucking chair. Like, one thing that I'm trying to do is I'm trying to cut back on zinning. I used to vape when I was like way young. It's crazy. Like, they were right about how vapes were so marketed towards the young population. I see now that it's way more targeted. Like, I caught one of the younger homies. He had like this like vape with like a screen on it and like had a bunch of crazy shit on it, and I was like, bro, you know what I had to do for a vape back in the day? We'd have to hit up some sketchy ass guy who lived 30 minutes away to come and bring these things called puff bars to my to like some local like basketball court, and you'd be handing him like $20 while shaking, praying that he didn't give you like something laced, you know. And now you go and you buy this, and they know that it's like the kids hope that shit's laced. It's crazy. They got the whole next generation hooked, but it's really a bad thing, you know, like being hooked on nicotine. That's not that crazy. I'm just trying to get off Zins because, or I'm not even like really on Zins. It's just, they're nice, bro. They're like good for you. That's the worst part, is like, I'm supposed to think that they're bad for me, but they're like good for you. That's like Zins, like they're good for you, you know? About Kanye though, like I think one of the best things that you could have is clarity in best way I could put it is like, if I were to be put into a random room, would I more want the confidence to walk around? Like, in life, we kind of get put in this dark-ass room, right? We get put into this pitch-black room in life. And would I rather have confidence to stumble around and trip and fall and go and walk through, or have the clarity to be able to see through the darkness, walk through? And I think that with Kanye West, like, or Ye. He's Ye now. He's not Kanye, but I think that his confidence is not a substitute for clarity, and he made that mistake. I don't want to make that mistake, you know? I got to see things clearly. It's very important. I got to see in each scenario, you know? Bringing out the tripod. Sorry, Noel Miller. But yeah, he was super cool. Like, I was able to talk to him as much as I wanted to, you know? Sorry, guys, for the banana ASMR, but if you guys ever wanted to eat a banana with me, this is what it would be like. I swear, man, these Arnold Palmers are crazy. I love them. I love if I had to get off if I had to get off an Arnold Palmer, I don't know what I would do. Got banana all over me now. I've been watching this guy named Coltrane. He is like the most like, I think he's the happiest, dumbest person I've ever like seen. He's not even like dumb. He's like so willing to just like, if you guys don't know, he's that stay fucking dirty, bro. And he just like tricks with Zins and like rides his Harley motorcycle and has like wings tattooed on his back and does like prison workouts and like goes to Goodwill and shit. Just like this, I think maybe Chinese dude that just like found what TRT is and just like started boosting so hard. But that level of happiness is like, it can't be real. He just seems so happy, you know, with Zins. That's why I say Zins are good for you, because like, you're just like, fuck, bro, I need a Zin. And he's just happy. And I feel like the best part about it is that you can just be happy if you Zen. Like, there's no strings attached or anything. You just put a Zen in and you're happy. That's all I have, you know? That's an episode. Just kidding. Let's see what other material. The thing I like about doing these podcasts, by the way, it's 1:10 a.m. Fuck. I like doing these late at night because I'll sit there in my bed and for like 30 minutes I'll just be thinking about what I'd be saying to myself, you know? And so I'd rather just get this all over with and go have a good night of sleep and edit in the morning. So that's what I've been doing. Sometimes I write down some stupid shit. I sound like such a faggot in this one. Seems risky, I wouldn't take the chance. I think I was just feeling cocky in that moment. Feeling like, I guess, no, that's a pretty good one, in my opinion. Could have said that to Luke tonight. Seems risky, wouldn't take the chance. It's kind of a little jab at you, you know, like, seems risky, like, you're not a risk taker, bro. You're not going to lose your job over this. I think he's going to lose his job over this, too. That's the worst part about it. But I'm not going to take credit for that shit. Like, I already bought your ticket, dude. You're good. You made the choice. I think this is one of those things that I thought I made up. Because if you know Drake, his song 9, one of the lyrics is like, I'm going to die for it, just to show the city what it takes to be alive for it. And I wrote down, I'm going to die for it, man. I hope to be alive for it. It's kind of a different little thing. Because, like, fuck. I think that in order to be, like, great, you know, at anything, like, let's say if I was, like, the best, like, at, or if I, like, all of you, I know that some people that listen to this are in college, so let me just keep this short and sweet. When looking for, like, a job or, like, a profession, like, I've looked at a few things. I tried to be a chef for a little bit. I tried to be, like, make clothes. This is, like, architecture isn't my first thing that I'm, like, landing on. It's probably, like, my 5th or 6th, but, I would be doing it. I'd be like, you know, cutting onions every day, you know, prepping food, making all types of stuff, and then thinking of like recipes in my own time. And I was like, yeah, this shit would be easy to do it one time, but like in order to be truly great at anything, and I want to be great at what I put my mind to, you got to be willing to do it over and over, not just one time. A lot of people get in that mindset like, oh, I'm going to make this, you know, I'm going to make this shirt and this design. I'm going to spend all this time just one time and then I'm going to clock out. No, you got to fucking do it for the rest of your life and die for it. You got to die for this shit. And you got to hope that you're alive for it. You know, there's people like Picasso who fucking went their whole life dedicating their life to art. And there's this one quote. I need to look this shit up with my banana fingers. Picasso. I wish I had a Jamie, dude. Is it Van Gogh? No, but this one's pretty good. What I am in the eyes of most people, a non-entity, an eccentric, or an unpleasant person, somebody who has no position in society and will never have it. In short, the lowest of the low. This is a guy that gave his whole life to art. It was like literally just hated. Like to be really great at anything, you're so misunderstood. You're so misunderstood, and like people look at him now, and they're like, "Holy shit!" Like, what? It's just crazy. They look at his art now is like nationally recognized. It's internationally recognized. It's recognized throughout so much time periods. And it's gonna keep on being recognized. Okay. Bro, I cannot find this quote. Okay. There we go. Okay, it's Van Gogh. Okay. How beautiful is this quote? So he was a worthless painter. He was. Van Gogh did express the idea that his work would be recognized later. He had the foresight to be able to know that I'm going to be misunderstood in my lifetime and I'm going to be worthless in my lifetime because I've lost my mind in it, you know? And Van Gogh says, if I am worth anything later, I am worth something now. And so no matter how worthless you feel at this point, right now, ties into suffering and comfort, ties into sitting there and taking it and taking the beat and taking all this shit that life fucking throws at you. Every single day you wake up, you're going to get a new problem and you're going to have to find a new solution. And you're going to feel, you get to choose whether you feel worthless or not. But you need to understand that the only way that you're ever not going to feel worthless is if you put in that work to get over the hump. If you put in that work to go past what you think you can do. He says, if I am worth anything later, I'm worth something now. And I think that should be, I don't know, I feel like it's, to be misunderstood means that there's something to understand about you, you know? Speaking of misunderstandings, I think the way that history gets broken down, like, in the idea, here you go, all right, I'll finish my banana. The way that history gets broken down and shit, like, if I were to read about COVID-19 inside of, like, a textbook, you know, in the scenario that I read about the Black Plague or the scenario that I read about whatever, I would be like, holy shit, like this sounds like the worst plague of the 21st century. But I've experienced it, and it was honestly like I put on like maybe like 20 pounds, and I ate a bunch of Takis and played Minecraft. But like other than that, like we just kind of stayed inside. I built some bike jumps. It wasn't that bad, you know. But from an outsider's perspective, and for how history is going to write it down, this is going to be the craziest event of all 21st century. COVID? Are you kidding me? And what I'm going to tell my nephew or whatever, they're going to be like, okay, but school doesn't teach you that, you know? And I feel like how much of history is a big misunderstanding? How much of history is like, you know, exaggerated? I don't know. I mean, could be true. Could not be. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a history buff or anything, and whatever is presented to me is all I know. I think it's beautiful, though. Oh, ooh. Okay, like this moment in my life, I was big on risk, I guess. So I said, seems risky, I wouldn't take the chance. And the next thing I wrote down was, this life is teeming with opportunity, and with that comes risk. Every single moment is a gift. I want you to take a risk on me because I promise you, you will never find another opportunity like this. And I think I was talking to, could have been a girl or like a boss or some shit. I don't know. That sounds like good interview material, but I was like chilling, I guess. And I don't know. I feel like that's a great thing to say. Because I don't know, each time I meet somebody, it does feel like a risk, you know? Putting in all this work and this nurture into this relationship, putting work and nurture into whatever, it takes a lot, bro. It takes a lot to just even take in another person into your life. I mean, how many people? I think it's only like 50,000 people that you're going to actually like touch in your life. How many people will I see in my life? However, some estimates suggest that the average person might see between 90,000 and 42.5 million faces, with a range of remembering only a small percentage of those. Some estimates let's just call it 80,000 people. That's crazy. That's like looking at a big superstar like Noel Miller. Like, no way he's going to ever remember my face. He did say, because I asked him what race he was, and like he was like, it'd be funny if I just saw you on the streets and like I just told you what I was, and you went out and you were like, Noah told me he was this, and they were like, where did he tell you that? And he was like, Irvine, and they were like, man, oh, Noah wasn't in fucking Irvine. That's crazy because like I'm gonna see so many people in my life. How many people will I build connections with though? I know I'm a slow typer. It says that I'm going to only have around 150 stable relationships at varying levels of intimacy. This number is based on the size of the human brain and the capacity. This is the Dunbar number. 150 people. Who do you choose to be in that 150 people. I feel like I've done a lot of pruning and trimming and like looking through those 150 people or however big my number is, and I feel like that's one of the first things you should be doing, taking a look at who is in your friend group, because I mean, whether you like it or not, you end up being like your friends, you know, no matter how strong you are. Like, unless you go out, you seek building like a solid foundation, and then you come back to those friends. I think that if all you know is those friends, you're going to end up being just like them. So take a look at your friends and say like, all right, are these people that I'm going to like build bonds with? Are these people that I'm going to like grow with? Are these people that I'm going to do better for this world? I mean, what is your goal? I asked you that last time you had some time to think about it. What is your goal? What is your goal with all this? You know, you can call in at 909-784-5119. Just tell me your goal. I would love it. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I'm okay with girls and stuff. I feel like I'm in this like state of like putting myself out there and just being like, ah, oh, fuck this, bro. This sucks dick. It feels like I'm searching for a used car. Going back to the Noel Miller. Like, the game is fucking ruthless, man, bro. Like, girls just be... I just don't even know what they want, you know? What do they want out of a guy right now? Because, like, I'm looking at it like... I don't really... Maybe they don't know what they want, but it seems like the guys that I think girls want, I don't ever want to be like. When does that shit change? When do they start liking the person that I want to be, you know? And the person that I'm striving to be, or me, you know? Because I'll be talking to a chick and it's like, I'm not going to sit there and pretend to be somebody else. And like, if you don't fuck with me, that's chill. That's fine. And also a lot of these girls feel like OnlyFans models. Like, I go on their Instagram and it's like, you know, they got like 3,000 fucking, you know what they feel like they're just cats, in my opinion. I think men and boys are like dogs, and girls and women are like cats. You know, like, I feel like dogs are pretty straightforward. I think men are pretty simple-minded when it comes to like emotions and stuff. But like, I don't know, like, I have this cat that I live with, and no matter how much I try to get him in, unless I have the treats in my hand, he won't come to me. You know, and he's constantly meowing, constantly wants food, constantly wants to go poop and shit. No diss to women, bro. It makes me sound like I fucking hate women, but I think there's just a key difference between like men and women. And there's also great things. Like, if a cat likes you, it's fucking pretty sweet. But I don't know. It's just different. And it's like, I see all these people. I feel like I put in a lot of effort into who I am and what I want to be. And I saw, like, all these... I just feel like... I'm not going to discourage myself, and I'm not going to discourage you guys by saying this, because I don't truly believe this. So what I'm saying is that I feel like I know that my time will come, and I need to focus on myself right now, and that rejection is protection. But sometimes I feel like it's just weird. I see all these people that put in so much less effort than me. Maybe from my perspective, they put in less effort. Like, there's no shortcut for my progress. Like, I see people that I used to know that are probably right now doing cocaine off of strippers' titties and, like, living it up in a big city and, like, feeling like they're on top of the world. And I just realized that is my path, you know? Like, that's their path. That's what they're gonna do. That isn't my path. I don't know, like, and if I were to be in their position, I'd feel like a fraud, you know? Like, and I don't say that they should feel like a fraud. Maybe that's just how they're maybe not even cocaine off a stripper's titties and, like, eating fucking ass. Like, I'm saying, like, they're just living a fundamentally, like, different life than me. And it sounds fun, but it's just, like, I don't know if I could ever do that, you know? And maybe they're sitting there like, I don't know if I could ever do what Harlan's doing. I could never sit up at fucking almost 2 o'clock in the morning doing a podcast. Like, I just have a different path completely. I have a different walk. I have a different amount of effort that I have to put in to see results I'm pleased with. Like, there's a difference between me and you, you know? And it's like, sometimes it feels like there's like this big ass fucking rock at the start of my life. And I feel like I'm at the starting line. And once you turn 18, it feels like a starting line of some sorts. Because you get all this, you know, you're an adult now. You're this, you're that. You act this way, you act that way. And so I see this big ass rock at the start of it. And I'm like, all right, like, I can either push off breaking that rock right now, or I can start right now and keep on doing it. And so I feel like I'm picking up my pickaxe and I'm mining away the rock, and I'm mining away the rock, and I'm going and I'm eating food, and I'm bandaging my hands, and I'm going back, going to sleep, and then waking up, and then, you know, looking at my blistered fucking hands, and I'm like, bro, like, this rock is still there and it's not going down. And sometimes I think when I wrote some of this, I was discouraged, you know? And obviously I'm not discouraged right now, but, you know, things come and they go. This is also a message to me. Don't be discouraged, because the end is the same. That rock's going to be finished whether I have to put in the work later in my life or right now. And so I think that I'm doing the smart thing. And so, you know, some people have bigger rocks. Like, there's definitely some people with, like, more dense rocks and harder rocks. I just feel like everybody's got to toil with their own progress, you know? Oh, I wrote this one down. You call it weird. I call it my menstrual cycle. I don't know why I wrote that down. I think my sister said that or something, and I wrote it down, and I think I'm going to put that on a t-shirt. That's a good one. I'll chuck that on a t-shirt. It's just Saratoga, by the way. You know this bottle? It's just something light, you know, it's Saratoga. What else? Speaking on confidence and Kanye West, he taught me that confidence is the, like, willingness to try. Like, I'm willing to go out there and fall on my ass and then come back and, you know, try. I also learned recently in our time without each other that spring cleaning is biblical. Like, I'm taking a look at it. So after Palm Sunday, right? So Jesus comes in. He's riding down on his stallion, and people are waving this palm. Father, forgive me if I'm misconstruing this and stuff, but everybody's waving these palm branches, and he's coming down the mountain, and everybody's praising him like the Messiah has came. And this is before all those people will turn on him, right? And he doesn't know it, or he knows it, but they don't know it. And so he's coming down. He has all these sycophants. Look it up. It's a word. Sycophants. You know, I use big words and drink Saratoga and eat bananas late at night. He has all these sycophants waving these palm branches, and he gets down, and he eventually enters this temple, right? And they're selling sheep again. And it's like he just cleared out this temple a few months ago, and maybe even a year ago, and they're already selling cattle, and they're already this place of worship and this place that, you know, people are supposed to be praying and stuff is turned into this market, you know? And he comes in and he fashions a whip and he starts whipping people out of the fucking thing. And it's like he's flipping over, overturning tables, change is going all over the place. These Roman coins are going all over the place. And he's pissed. And I'm like, bro, that is not the Jesus that they tell us about. I think it was on like the Tuesday after Palm Sunday. And he's pissed. He's fucking angry. Not angry, but he's like, you will not turn the place that is dedicated to worshiping my Father into this. And so I'm like, all right. You know, looking at like, you got those 150 people that you're going to have in your life and you're going to live with. You're going to have to spend your time with. Go through and do some spring cleaning. This is biblical. This is like right now. I had a great Sunday service. I woke up at 5 a.m. And I see a lot of people like, you know, they get up for that 5 a.m. Like I used to be one that like would sit there and complain about it. And I shouldn't have gone all those years that early, you know, because I was just doing it to say that I was doing it at 5 a.m. I think if you really are like, he deserves his praise and shit, like genuinely feel that, go. But, you know, 9 o'clock service preaches the same thing. And if you're not been out of shape of it, I'm bummed because every time that in my religion, every time that I do the wrong thing and every time that I sin, it's my sin that put him up on the cross. Whether you believe that or not, you know, is a story for another day, but that's just how I feel. So I woke up at 5 a.m, got it done. I had work at 9 too, so went with my mom. It was a beautiful service. Saw my buddy Carson. Shout out to Carson. Yeah, it's just so wonderful. Like this community that I've been a part of and the people that I've been able to meet. I don't know, just being loved. If you don't feel loved or anything, just know you're loved and know that you're good the way you are. But also, you know, most churches, most places, I know that there's places that judge you and shit, but most people are good people. And if you reach out to anybody, they're going to help you. Including me. If you know me, reach out to me. You know, we got 909-784-5119. You know, because therapy is expensive, and you can email whiteboyhorrorfree@gmail.com. Yeah. Dude, there is so much shit that I write down, but I'm going to save it all for another episode. Thank God that I'm here. Just want to say that to the people that do listen to this, people that don't listen to this, to myself who listens to this, thank you for being you. You know, I said to my friend tonight, Luke, I was like, you know, I'm just thinking about it, and I'm like, it'd be cool to have Noel Miller on my podcast one day. And he laughs, you know, and I was like, I can't be mad at him for laughing because that's the right thing to do, I guess, in this world. But I think I could do it. And I think that if I am listening to this and I ever think that I can't do it, go fuck yourself. All right, guys, rest easy. Thanks for listening. Catch you in the next epi.